respected HOD and all faculties, respected guide and research coordinator. Today I'm going to give a presentation on pre-PhD presentation on design and development of microstrip antenna for future wireless applications. My contents will be introductions, literature survey, objective of research work, publications, conclusion, and future scopes, and the concerned references.
So Manoj, because I have already listened in so
Yes,
many
yes.
times, na. So
Yes,
you
sir.
should discuss only the what is your object, what you have done.
Sir,
You will finish as early as possible.
can I jump to the objective directly, sir? If you permit.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So I'm going to skip introduction and all the theory of these antennas, and just I'm coming to the objective. After literature survey, I'm just coming to the objective, sir. So here, sir, I had decided 4 objectives: objective 1, objective 2, objective 3, and objective 4. First objective was design and investigation of bandwidth enhancement of microstrip antenna using antipodal structure, which was including mathematical investigation for resonance frequency for dominant mode, optimization of defective ground and to use taper feed and its optimization for antipodal structure, evaluation of important parameters. In the objective 2, I had considered design and investigation of microstrip MIMO antenna. This included gain enhancement of proposed antenna, evaluation of different MIMO antenna parameters. The third objective, design and investigation of bandwidth enhancement of a dual channel microstrip antenna using fan shaped radiators was considered, which included optimum design of defective ground, optimum design of fan shaped radiator, and evaluation of important parameters. In the objective 4th, one study was considered, and in this study, testing and qualification aspect of microstrip antenna was taken. Their deployment in real working environment in different applications was considered. Now I'm coming to the objective number 1. Design and development of an antipodal microstrip antenna for enhanced operational bandwidth. As we have already discussed, this work was considered, and based on this antipodal structure and tapered feed and the defective grounds, we have considered this antenna, and this in the table we have shown the different size of these antennas. So here, size of the total antenna 34 into 28 was taken, and FR04 material was considered with this all the thickness of 1.6 mm, and defective ground was taken into considerations. In the step-by-step equation, our basic method was to give an empirical formula for the this dominant mode frequency. So step by step, we have calculated effective relative effective relative permittivity. So for that, we have considered that LP1 and WP1 of the amount of 7 mm and 1.5 mm respectively, and epsilon R for this FR4 material was 4.4, and this thickness of the substrate was considered 1.6. And here, using this formula, which some parameter we have defined here because this was a new method. So ultimately, this method has come, epsilon R has come to 3.78. Now, we know about the fringing effect. We are all aware how important it is in a microstrip antenna. So the calculation of this additional length is very important. So using this formula, where we have used this LP1, WP1, and these are the parameters which are related to our antennas, and therefore this basically this is a bow type of antenna where this formula is there, but that formula has been modified, and this formula has been proposed, and the effective additional length has been proposed. So using this question, we have given the fringing length of which has come of 0.629 mm. So putting these values and putting this LP1 again here in this form, LP1 and WP taking into considerations, we have calculated the resonance frequency. And this resonance frequency has come 5.83 gigahertz. This antenna was simulated, and we have verified that whether this is true or not. So we have seen that the first cutoff frequency, we see this figure, the first frequency has come on 5.80. So our mathematical calculation, what we have proposed in this paper, that is as good as what we are getting in the simulation. Then we have evaluated the space current distributions for the antennas at the different frequency of 6.80 gigahertz, 10.70, 12.43 gigahertz, 16 gigahertz, 29.2 gigahertz, and 40.2 gigahertz. So we can see that various parts are resonating of these antennas for the different, and resonance is varying as the frequency is going to increase. The parametric study was taken, and we have taken the influence of LP1. We have seen that how LP1 can vary and what are the effects of this. Then how this LP1 is varying and what are the effects on this. So we have taken the variation from 5 mm to 9 mm. So we have started from the very beginning, and we have seen that when we are going to 5 nines, that optimal results we are getting at LP1 at 7 mm.
So, Manoj, why you are interested to find out of a parametric study? There is some aim, or why you are
Yes,
interested?
that's true, sir. There are two things. First of
Yeah.
all, when I'm doing some parametric study, one is that it can help me to optimize some parameters if plus minus deviation. But the major thing is there that when I'm doing some parametric study, that with variation of those parameter, my results should respond with the theoretically concepts. For example, if LP1 is taking, I'm taking the length of patch, and that LP1 is changing, then because this LP1 corresponds to lambda by 2 length, now at when I'm taking the more length, for example, 9 mm length I'm taking, so the resonance should shift to the left, mean lower frequency side. And when I'm taking this length 5 mm, the resonance should shift to the upper high side. So if this is happening, that's mean my concept of the antenna design is true and it is meeting to theoretically concepts. So sir, there are two aspects. One is to verify my this simulation that whether it is theoretically correct, and second thing is there whether plus and minus little bit it can be optimized to the parameters. So like
Okay,
that
okay.
also, yes sir.
You will continue.
Sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Then influence of LP1, LP2 is also taken considerations, and it has been considered from different things, 2 to 6 mm, and the optimum size has been taken into the considerations, 4 mm. After that, we have evaluated S11 parameters. We have simulated it, and they have been measured in the this test laboratory. So these simulated and measured parameters, they are very much as par to each other. So we can say that our design is perfect because the fabrication things are as par as the simulated results. There are the few small deviation could be there, maybe due to that can be due to some antenna misalignment or some mere other things, but they are as far as both are similar. After that, radiation pattern has been evaluated at 0.43, 16 gigahertz, 29.20 and 40.20 gigahertz, and co and cross polar, these patterns are found satisfactory. After that, beam width of antenna over the frequencies has been evaluated. As the theoretical concept say that whenever the beam width is there, it should be quite consistent. There should not be any variations in the beam width. So it has been evaluated and it has been found constant over all the frequency band of operation. After that, the antenna performance for group delay. In the broadband communication system, the deformation of pulse during the transmission can be measured by important factor which is called group delay. Group delay of pulse should be nearly constant throughout the operation band for a better transmission. The simulated and measured group delay of the proposed antenna is presented here. The deviation of group delay remains within 1 nanosecond in our case, so which speaks for the complete operating band. So this seems to be very perfect for this design. After that, since the design, this design antenna has to be deployed for our practical considerations, so we have considered its deployment in a devices just like our mobile handset, and we have considered one this ground, because what will happen when the antenna will be placed somewhere in the mobile set, additional device will act as a effective ground. So we have simulated this model with using 8 time of the ground patch. So we have studied some investigation in books literature. So they have classified that these types of ground concept in two parts. One is called symmetrical finite ground and one is called symmetrical infinite ground. Another is symmetrical finite ground and symmetrical infinite ground. The basic concept is that suppose we want to install one antenna in a device, and if the device size is less than 6 times to that antenna, it is called finite ground. And if the size is more than 6 times, it is called infinite ground. So in our case, basically, if we type that about the ground condition which is appearing, that is a symmetrical infinite ground plane. So these are the results what we have found with the proposed device and with the extended grounds. So they're more or less the same, and even because the ground is appearing and it has facilitated to the have the better resonances. So the both of the results which are with extended ground and proposed antenna, they are as per good. After that, it may be possible that antenna can be deployed in the different mobile sets which may having different types of materials of the fabrications. So it is very important to test one antenna for the cases, different cases materials. So here we have taken the different cases. We have tried to see the situation of our antenna in the different cases material whose relative permittivity was 2.135. So, and our proposed permittivity of 4.4. So here also this our antenna performance is quite good because there is no any adverse effect of casing of items, and antenna can be deployed in any of the casing material which can have the relative permittivities of that material from 2.1 to 5. One publication has come in SCI journals, Elsevier publications in 2020 from this all work. Now I'm moving to the second object, which is design of 20 GHz ISM band MIMO antenna for radar communications and sensor applications. I have started from the very basic rectangular microstrip patch antennas, which was of the design of 3.50 and 5.50. And after that, I tried to resonate this antenna, and it could resonate very well around 8 GHz. And as we know the theoretical concept, when we are trying any slots in a rectangular side, it will surely enhance the bandwidth of the antenna, and it will try to bring the resonance frequency to the down of the what exactly we are getting the rectangular patch. So, same thing was done, and I saw when these rectangular slots were found, I got a bandwidth of 4.2 GHz, and my resonance from the 28 GHz, it has shifted to 23 GHz. And after that, I try to saw what is the gain of this element. When this is a lower plot is there, then I found that this gain of this antenna was around maximum 5.8. And whenever I try to devise a new method that these types of antenna, I just use one signal divider, power divider, and I try to feed with the optimum distance, and I just try to see whenever using such a power divider, I am feeding such two antenna elements, and I am treating this two antenna element as a single element. This could increase my gain, and it has reached up to 9 dBi. So what I could understood, when I can increase, I have added one additional element, the gain of the antenna could be increased. It is giving some kind of array effect. After that, the gain of this single element is needed, then I treat it as a single element, and I placed this one element and another element I have placed on the opposite side of the similar atom, so that I could give it a MIMO shape. Now the question is coming that why it is placed in opposite side, it could be placed in the same size. Actually, here I have used one decoupling structure. So in this decoupling structure, I want to give a similar decoupling feeling to the both of the antenna elements, antenna 1 and 2. So antenna 1 is placed in bottom side, antenna 2 is placed in the top side, and the ground side, what things they are facing, they are the similar things. So this will help to have the symmetrical result of S parameters and isolation parameter. So here, know that decoupling structure is used to is very important to bring down the mutual coupling. Defective ground is useful technique for mutual coupling reduction. So here, step by step, I have used this swastika structure to make this defective ground structure. Then again, this parametric study, as we have discussed, there are 2 points. Is the first to understand the theoretical concept and optimization. Optimization was although good, but what we do, we just try to parametric study to see, to validate our antenna whether theoretically it is good or not. So if we see, we have varied, it was varied from 5.5 to 6.6. So we can see whenever this length is varied 6.6, our frequency has shifted towards lower side. If we see from around 24 gigahertz, it has shifted around 22. So that's mean when this patch length is more, that frequency is coming down. So we are, our concepts are right. When the length is more, the frequency is coming down. So this means our antenna theoretically, what our concept is there, and what we have discussed simulated, that is matching to the theoretically concepts. After that, we have point to point, we have evaluated this development of the swastika structures, defective ground structure. Here, one of the antenna has been fed the signal, and the antenna in the first figure, the right hand side, that another antenna element, which it was terminated. So what we see that when the first antenna element was fed, it is still having some radiation is happening from the antenna terminal, antenna element 2 also. So in this figure, if we see its isolation performance at the top, it was just touching around 20. So that isolation performance, although it was okay, but satisfactory, but not up to the mark. So around 20 still it was getting when I was antenna 1 was dead and antenna 2 was terminated when the ground was plain. After that, slowly, I start to evaluate. I have started to give the shape to the antenna to a defective structure. And the second, as shown in the figure B, this shape was considered. Now we can see that this shape has bowed this resonance in a different shape. But here we can see the optimum radiation is not happening. After that, the shape has been optimized to the final ground shape. And here we can see that this right-hand side antenna is fed with the signal and left-hand signal is terminated. So there is hardly any radiation from the neighbor, that is antenna element 2. And all the element from the element what we are desired should radiate, it is happening. So if we see the element, if we see that this last figure, which is in blue and black, blue, it is very in a nice way. Now the isolation has improved and it has touched to the even minus 40 and better. So isolation performance was also evaluated from S parameter and it is found satisfactory and improvement after implementing of the defective ground. So this is the setup. This is the antenna actually how it is appearing, and this is a test setup for the antenna. After that, we have evaluated this S parameter performance. So this is the measured and simulated results. They are matching very nicely and they are as par like that. S12 and S21 parameters, they are also very satisfactory and both results are in line. We are aware that antenna efficiency is one of the very important parameters. So we have calculated this antenna efficiency for antenna A1 and not antenna part 1 and antenna part 2. So here we are getting an antenna efficiency around which is touching around 80% in the both of the cases, 87% actually. We are aware that diversity gain and annual population coefficients are very important parameters in MIMO systems. The ECC is meant for the mutual coupling calculation between the antenna element. This also brings out the amount with which antenna elements are correlated. So there are the two methods basically to calculate the ECC. One method is to based on the S parameter, and another method is when we have the three-dimensional radiation parameters. Then we can use we can calculate the ECC based on this. So the S parameter calculation. So there is a concept is like that S parameter calculation is used when the antenna is not that much efficient. Then we are using the first method, and second method when the antenna is efficient more than 80%. So then we can use the another one. So here we have calculated this ECC by the both method. One ECC by S parameter based also and based on radiation parameter also. Now we have seen that ECC is very much well range. Our value is 0.015, and as per theoretically concept it should be less than 0.5. So our result is quite good in that respect. Like that, diversity gain, the concept should come that the formula for diversity gain is 10 under the root 1 minus ECC square. So since the ECC square is almost 0.015, it is very, very less. So our approximately value is coming 10 dB. So that is as per our value is quite satisfactory in that case. Like that, total active reflection coefficient when we are talking. In a MIMO system, we are aware that because the many transmitter and many receiver antenna has to be connected, and if we see in the transmitter side, all antennas are connected to concerned power amplifier, they are connected to VSWR protection circuits, and they can be connected to equalizers. So many cables will be involved. Like that in the receiver side, we see when the antennas are connected, they are connected to the... Sir, please.
Manoj, please conclude because we have already listened. Na?
Okay, right, sir.
You have done a good work.
Yes, sir. So thank you very much, sir.
Please conclude.
So this Stark evaluation has been, yes, sir. So this is this thing, sir. We have calculated this graph, sir. So our value is as per expectation is coming fine. Benchmarking has been done and work has been compared, sir. And the good news that actually yesterday only we got this news that this paper has been accepted in SCI journals. So now we have got the 2 SCI journal papers, sir. So the third one, sir. I think we have already discussed design aspect of a dual band antenna, sir. It was the basic shape of the antennas, and these are the dimension details of the top and bottom, sir. And this is the fabrication antenna, and this one is the chambers we have done, and these are all the results we have already discussed. And they are the gain of antenna from 20 to 30 and 50 to 70 gigahertz, and their efficiency of antenna plots are there. They are quite satisfactory. And the 3D dimension, this radiation plot and comparison of the work. And this work we have got one Scopus journal publications. And the fourth was a study on antenna testing, measurement, and qualification aspects. So this was a study actually. So we have gone through that how important is the important chambers and other things, their materials and other things in the evaluation of the systems. So in addition to, we have seen we could understand what is the selection of adequate chamber observer, what are the classification should be there to use, like that how diversity antenna measurement system is different than a normal system which is used for the MAMO system, and what are the importance of antennas and their probes. Like that, what are the importance of the scanning system, what is the importance of accuracy system, and we have just tried to study some environmental qualification, what are the effect of low pressure at high altitude antenna, how it has to be performed, high temperature test, low temperature test, and thermal shock, and combination of the fluids in different conditions, air and humidity. So all these things were there. We have got one publication of UGC CARE Group 1 journals for this work. So I want to conclude it, sir. We have just started our discussion with the beginning of the literature survey and antenna theory. And there are 3 antennas have successfully come, and the first of second antipodal structures and this MAMO antenna, we have got 2 SAA publications, so work is validated well. And after that, this dual band antenna, 1 Scopus, and 1 study which has been UGC CARE. So this work has been considered in there. There are the future scopes to involve more mathematical equation for investigation. Here we have got one equation for this basically dominant mode, but like that antipodal structure, we can involve the mathematics and we can see that how the higher modes are coming and how this overlapping resonance can help us. Like that, we can think over that whenever the shapes are loaded with the slots, what is the effect on the radiation efficiency, and there are 3 or 4 problems we can have and we can in future. This is the publication list, sir. 2 SCAs and 1 UGC and Scopus, and these 2 papers were presented in the conferences, sir, as per the requirement of university, and these are the references, sir. So that's all, sir.
So from my side, it is okay. We have already listened in a RSC, so you can submit. Huh?
No kind of sir. Thank you.
So any other member is comment on that one. So first you listen from that side.
Yes, please, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So Dr. Neeta, you can ask to other member. From my side, it is okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All the other members, if you have any queries, you are welcome, please.
It's nice work, Neeta. Continue. From my side also.
Good and can be submitted, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, all the faculty members. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you, everybody, sir. No point of view. Thanks, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Yes, ma'am.